Dave here, how are you? Today is the 24th of March 2019. I noticed there has been some questions about when daylight savings will actually end in New South Wales, in Australia, where I am. That will be on the 7th of April. Now, the 7th of April, be aware, Nick Ferry's just opening up a live session in competition to me. Go away, Nick. Put it back an hour. Put it back an hour. Okay, where was it? He's distracting me. So the 7th of April, because we're ahead of most people, I'm guessing, as not intellectually, but you know what I mean, as far as the dateline's concerned, we will be Sunday, which will be your Saturday night, we will be going back 1 hour. So Australia's clocks will be falling backwards. So you work it out as to what time zone, all that kind of stuff, how that will affect you. I don't know if the UK has jumped forwards to daylight savings yet or not. But let's see how we go. The main thing is we have a show, and I'm going to read through what's going to be in it today. Now, if you're on the Facebook pages, and also if you're following me on Instagram, I try and get that information up for you as quickly as possible. I'll tell you it's going to be half an hour. Normally I do Facebook 30 minutes before the show starts. I'm trying to do the same kind of thing with Instagram as well, and a little bit of what's going to be on. So here we go. Today, a Lazy Susan demonstration. Now, that's not just the girl in the class that never did any tidying up. This is actually a bearing that's designed to go under something to let it rotate. Normally, the application is for the middle of a dining room table, and you pop all of your condiments. Whoop! Ha! One of my extraction hoses just fell off the wall. Okay, so that's a bit freaky. Okay, normally for condiments to sit in the middle of the table, and but I have seen people use them as a bearing for putting pot plants on. So if you've got a heavy pot plant, a bearing like this will take around 300 or 400 kilos, I think. These things are horribly strong. So if you've got a pot plant and you want to be able to rotate it so that it's always facing the sun, or part of it is facing the sun, so you turn it, turn it, turn it, and it gets even greenery and grows straight rather than leaning over to an angle, this might be something you want to watch. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. I'm going to create this for, as I said, for my mother-in-law as a shelf in the fridge, so she doesn't have to reach into the back of the fridge. She can just turn the thing from the front and grab what she wants. All right, next thing is Timber and Brass Vent Viewers Project from Paul Mumford. Now, Paul has generously sent in how he's creating this ventilation in his workshop, which, you know, this is what I encourage you guys to do. Send some stuff into me, the project that you're building. Paul's actually done all the brass work himself as well, which is excellent. Bicky Bickford, he's a guy on the web who does restorations. He goes around to all of these fairs and fetes and shows, and he buys old hand planes, and apart from a lot of other things he buys as well, and he restores them, and he does a bloody good job of it. You know what, how about we get straight into that one to start with. Bicky's plane restoration. Here we go. This is a Stanley number 6. Look at the difference. So that's how he found it. And that's after he's gone to it. Oh, he's such a talent. So there's not too many of these photos. I thought I'd just throw in from different angles. Bicky's got his own Facebook page, so I encourage you to go and have a look at that as well. Bicky's restorations. Have a look at this brass wheel. Look at that. We get a close-up of that in a minute too, so don't panic. Front left. And I think there's some initials stamped into the side of this sole plate as well. Maybe they're on the other side. Now that plane is over 100 years old. It's just beautiful. You can see the patent dates are from 1902 to 1910. Cap iron, the blade and the backing iron. There you go, you can see that. March 25th, 02 to August 19th, 10, I think it was. Okay, and then back to me. How cool is that? You know, it's worthwhile having a bit of a hunt around. Now, Bicky cheats a little bit because he's got a whole pile of old handles. The plane might have had a big crack through it, and he's thought, you know, there's no chance fixing that. No one's going to buy it. So, but the handle may have been good. So he's got a big collection of handles and knobs, or handles you could also call a tote. And the reason you call it a tote is because that's how you hold onto the plane to tote it around with you. See? The front is a knob. That's all there is to it. Reading through a little bit, Barry, yeah, great job. It is hard work, but worth it. And Bicky also sells those on the internet as well. So drop in and have a look at his site. What's the next thing? A couple more workshop signs and their stories. Let's do that straight away. And we have, the first one will be John Cressy's sign. And what I'm doing is I've got a little bit of a story about it. So this is John's. Hi Dave, here's my shop sign. It was hand painted for me by a friend, Emma Ritson. Emma has her own YouTube channel called Emma's Spare Room Machine Shop. Emma's painted a few signs over the years for her friends. It is quite an honour to receive one. Cheers. And the next one is one that I must apologise. This was the first entry I received last week, or the week before, for the competition. It couldn't have won anyway, the reason being it's from overseas, but not to worry. This is from Nick Schnellman. And the reason he's got this sign is they started an Airedale rescue down in Florida for many years. So they started and also they ran it. Thus the Sea Dog name for my shop. The sign was made with many different hardwoods to provide natural colour. So that's cute. That really is nice. And we had another one that was a really late entry, and this is from Delilah. It's not really a sign. She says, hi Dave, here is my sign wall hanging in my shop. It was left over from Halloween one year and I thought it was too fun to throw away. Needless to say, the first time people see it on the garage door, they get a little freaked out. Back up to this part here and transition back again. Okay, so there you go. I apologise for not getting that one from Rick. As I say, it was he came in so fast and early with the sign, like it was still during the show, I think. And I read the email and I forgot to highlight it, so I didn't see it when I did the collaboration of all the others. Now, the person who won the moisture meter, and I'll do a nice close-up of the moisture meter picture for everyone to see, which has been kindly donated again by Ian Kerry from Kerry's Motors in Valley Heights in the Blue Mountains. There you go. That's pretty amazing. It's been given away and it works very, very well, as I've demonstrated to everyone previously on other shows. I'm going to do another bit of a read. Chad, good evening, Dave, from Sebawang. Is that Sebawang, Michigan? Og Atkinson, hello from Texas. John Lafferty is asleep. Leave him there. Leave him there. He needs to catch up on some sleep. Wayne, g'day Hilton. Been watching the radar. Looks better today. Oh, this is regarding tropical cyclone Trevor. Went across the Gulf of Carpentaria, which is up between Queensland and the Northern Territory in Australia, if you want to check a map. And one of our viewers lives just north in the Northern Territory. So it went underneath, went past him below. So he's very fortunate. So he spent the morning while it was travelling near his place out in the shed turning some wooden bowls, and he did a very, very nice job of them. CB Go Davo, Hilton, it's a beautiful day today, Wayne. Zane, good rest, John. You will need all your energy next week. What has John got planned next week? Maybe Vegemite will donate. I haven't really given that any thought. So what's the next thing? The Brisbane Timber and Working with Wood show. Now I was going to see if I've got a picture here. Yeah, I think I do. So this is the logo for the Timber Tools and Artesian show. So last week I called it the Timber and Working with Wood show, or because that's what was on the tickets. I did give some tickets away to people. There was all the tickets went out, and we had a couple of people get back to us and say that it was an improvement on last year, which is fantastic. They're saying it still needs to get a little bit more organisation, but that's very, very hopeful, because it would be a shame to see these kind of events disappear in Australia. So I encourage you to come to the Sydney one and also to come to the Canberra one and also the Melbourne show. Now the reason being for two reasons. They're doing a whole heap of stuff. They've got potters, they've got glass blowers, they've got blacksmiths, it's not just all about what we normally do with timber. They've got all of these other things and things for the kids to do, and people are doing so many different things. As I say, they've broken the mold and tried to recreate the show with a whole lot more artisans. The other reason is I will be going to the one at Sydney and also at Canberra, and I'll be taking my benches with me, and I'll be doing demonstrations on how easy it is to use this bench for cutting, for sanding, for doing basically making joints, anything you want to do that you'd use a standard conventional massive big bench, but you don't have the space because maybe you don't have a garage, maybe you live in a home unit with no outside lock-up storage at all, and you want to do some stuff inside the house and be able to do it clean and put it all away without even being able to see it anymore under the bed. So there you go. Now we have Paul Mumford here, so I might even jump into Paul's demonstration, the things that he sent in for us, which you could be very interested in. So it's called A Project for My Shed, and I'm going to go through slowly with this because there's a lot of pictures and a bit of text. So here we go. Paul, this one's for you, buddy. When the shell of my shed was erected a few years back, there was no ventilation apart from the windows and doors. I have since added vents to the outside in the gable ends and was planning to put closable vents inside. However, the only thing available was a cheap plastic sliding affair, totally unsuitable. I decided to make them for myself, and this is what I designed. So we've got that as open, and we've also got a picture of them shut. Now the frame is Merbo, while the vanes are Tasmanian oak. All the brasswork is made from 1/2 inch by 1/16 inch flat brass with pivots for the vanes made from 3mm brass rod. The frame timber was cut from a single piece of 3x2 scrap. Now let's jump into that picture. Rescued from the fire and has been sawn and planed to 40mm by 16mm. I've dovetailed the joints of the frame for strength, but don't look too closely. It's a skill that is still developing. The slats are made from pre-milled 40x8 DAR, and let's jump into that one, which means for people that aren't aware of it, DAR is for dressed all round. Okay, so Tasmanian oak and only needed to be cut to length. The brass end caps were sized to this dimension, with one having an extended lever tab. 5 of these were made. These were screwed to the ends of the vanes with 4 gauge by 12mm countersunk brass wood screws, and a 3mm offset hole was drilled in the brass and timber to accept the pivot pins. Let's go to the next picture, which I think has got the one without that little bump off the end. There you go. It's down the other end now. The pivot bars were cut to length from the brass strip, and 3mm holes 30mm apart were drilled to accept 10mm long pivot pins cut from the brass rod. These were soldered into place, then the back was filed flat. And we'll go to the next picture. And here are the rods soldered into place in the brass strip. The 3 countersink holes were also drilled in the bar for attachment to the frame. You can just see them, but you can't see. They may not have been countersunk at that side. Probably not. The lever bar was also cut from the flat bar with holes the same distance as the pivot bar. This would be attached to the tabs of the 5 vanes once they were in place in the frame. A larger hole in the bottom of the bar was drilled for the insertion of a hook to operate the vents. Let's see if I've got a picture of all of that. I've got a picture of it all laid out, ready for assembly. Next one. Prior to assembly, all timber was prepared with 3 coats of regular shellac and 2 coats of white shellac, followed by rub down with 00 steel wool and cabinet maker's wax. Next picture. Look at that, isn't that amazing? You wouldn't know, hold on, you can't see it because I have switched, I got too impressed with the picture. You wouldn't know it. So there you go, that's it. And doesn't it look professional? You'd probably think, oh yeah, he's just gone and bought it from a factory that makes these things. That's Very, very nice, Paul. I've got to say, I'm very impressed. The assembled vent, a 3mm Merbo strip was glued to the inside top of the frame against the top vane in the closed position as a stop. A similar strip was glued behind the bottom vane. This also helped create a seal when the vent is in the closed position. A foam rubber strip was glued at the back between the frame and the vent vanes as a seal. I was so happy with the prototype that I've made another 3 for the shed. Look, he's gone into production. It will give me good temperature control all year round. Now, I reckon that is great. Thank you very much, Paul, for sending those in. They look beautiful. They are so good. The shed is going to cower in embarrassment when these things go in. The stuff that you made, in comparison to the shed that you bought, this leaves them for dead. I'm super impressed. There you go. Did I say I was impressed? I am. That's brilliant work, Paul. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we've got some more people in here. It was snowing all day there, was it, Frankie? So whereabouts are you, Frankie and Frankie CNC? Gary, g'day Dave. Wilco from Melbourne. John Luke, good morning. Dave, fine day in our part of the world. Russ, great work, Paul. Yes, it was. Bob Lewin, better late than never. Good evening from New Jersey. Zane, very nice work. Joseph Murphy, hello. Michael Christmas, Paul, one word, wow. Ken's talking about food. John, beautiful work. It is. Now we're moving through the show really quickly today. Let's have a look. What's the next thing? I've got some news. I've got some very, very big news. I need a drink of water before I tell you. So, can anyone guess what my news is with Carbatec? I'll leave that for 5 minutes. And you can tell me what you think the news is. And while we're waiting for you to have a think about that, it's huge. It's absolutely huge news. The competition this week, the giveaway, anywhere around the world, you know, every now and then we'll do Australia only, but anywhere around the world, we're doing another G6 EYEMUFFS. These things and the standard EYEMUFFS are fantastic. And George very generously sends out one of these a month on the show. So whilst it might sound like it's repetitive and I'm giving him up a hell of a rap, why not? There are probably 8, maybe 10 people out there that have benefited from this show and George's generosity giving away the EYEMUFFS. So ordinarily we're supposed to be alternating between the G6 and the standard EYEMUFFS. But George has got some good news for you. He's got an updated version of these. I don't have a pair of them, but they've got a better decibel rating on the EYEMUFFS. And so, absolutely magic. So I need you to check in the description box below and tell me the answer to the question that I've got in the giveaway run by Rafflecopter. It's not a hard one, but you have to go to George's website. So you just type in EYEMUFFS. I've given you a link there in the competition, and away you go. No, NBN is not part of it. Let me have a quick look here. Carbatec starting to carry the Stanton bench. No, Michael, I haven't even asked them about that yet. So, but a good question. They're going to sell this. No, John. Ian, hi everyone. BC Spring's finally here. Good on you, Ian. Zane, Carbatec is sponsoring you on a regular basis. Well, that's one thing. Now, I did put in Patreon, like I put little bits of information in Patreon that you guys who aren't in Patreon don't get to know. So I've struck a bit of a deal with Carbatec. This is the smaller one. There's a bigger one than this. I've struck a bit of a deal with Carbatec. And for those of you around the world who've got no idea who Carbatec are, they're basically the brand of machinery that you see around my workshop. See the drill press behind me, the lathe, the thicknesser, the sander. Why do I have their gear? Because I work part-time for them, and obviously I get a staff discount, and their gear is as good as just as anyone else's, so why not? Yes, my channel is here. They get good signage. Why not? Well, it makes the world go round. Now, the other thing is, what I was going to say about what Zane had just said, Ian, you're sworn to secrecy. Yes, you are. I'll let you know in a minute. Okay, so Carbatec have been giving me a thing. I've had to ask, beg on my knees, can I please have something to give away on the show? Give me one, I will demonstrate it, and then if you guys can post one out to them. So the radius jig from Rockler, and I think I've done an optical punch as well. There's been a lot of things over the time that's been great. But now they've said, yeah, on a regular basis, Dave, once a month, we'll give you a giveaway to the value of around $100, which is fantastic. It's great to have that commitment. It's the same kind of a commitment as George has given me. So there's 2 articles a month. Now I need you to tell me what kind of things Carbatec have that are around the $100 mark that you would like me to demonstrate on the show, and also that you might feel is a nice gift to get sent out to you. Now this will only apply to people in Australia. We're not sending out to New Zealand, and we're not sending out to anywhere else in the world. It's just totally Australia, because Carbatec's not a massive company. You know, you think about these other companies like Grizzly, they're huge, 20 times bigger than Carbatec is. But Carbatec is growing, and they want to keep on growing. Now let me read here. It's Carbatec, not OTEC. I'm going to slide back up here. Okay, so then you're getting connected to the end. Not quite yet, John Luke. Hi, Chris, how are you? Paul Angus, I'm very happy with the G6 EYEMUFFS. Great. Paul, have you sent me a photo of you wearing them yet? Alan, employed you as an ambassador for Carbatec. Very close, Alan. Bill Gilmore, Carbatec made you a partner. No, no. CC, I wish I had a set of them for my 8-year-old son who likes it in the shop. Great. In Kerry in the corner. Look, there's so many things in here. Good on you, Jim. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Carbatec have asked me to make videos specifically for them. They won't be on my channel. They've been watching what I'm doing here, and they approached me after I approached them a few times over the years, and I thought, no, they're never going to do it. So they came back to me about 5 weeks ago and said, Dave, we want you to make assembly videos for our machines, correct usage, and also maintenance, which is fantastic. These are the things I've been doing anyway. I've been doing on the machines that I've bought for myself. I've done an open the box and, you know, a bit of a review and an assemble. Well, this is going to be, as I say, specifically for Carbatec. And so if you purchase a machine, you'll be able to go to their channel and have a look at it and get the assembly. Now, they are paying me to do that. I will be wearing Carbatec clothes. It will be happening in this workshop, but filmed from a different location over there somewhere. Over there will be the backdrop. And also, here's one other really, really nice thing. They came up to the workshop last week. This is the guy that owns Carbatec, the CEO, and a couple of other people. And they saw these 2 machines here, the Jet and the Powermatic. And they said, hey, Dave, how about moving forwards, we have all of the machines in our videos are Carbatec, because Carbatec does a very nice bandsaw, and they also do a edge linisher as well, an edge sander. And I thought, you know what? How about we do that? So they're going to buy those machines off me. And well, actually, they're going to do a swap. So instead of the Powermatic 14-inch bandsaw, I will have a 14-inch high-capacity 2-horse Carbatec bandsaw, which is a very, very nice machine. And I will show you a picture of it. I'm very excited about this. So here's the bandsaw that I'll be getting to replace the Powermatic. And what else have I got? Down here, instead of the linisher, I'm going to get this machine. So one of the machines is a little bit more expensive than mine, and one is a little bit less expensive than mine. And that is a very nice oscillating 6-inch belt sander that can tip over flat. And I'm going to make a little kind of a jig for it so I can use it as a linisher as well for sideways, and a 12-inch disc sander with 4-inch dust ports on it, which will be fantastic. So the thing is, I rarely use the edge linisher. And when I sold my 6-inch belt a 9-inch disc sander to John Lafferty, I regretted it. Well, good on him for buying it off me, but there you go. So but you want me to give them away. You want me to give them away as a prize. It has been suggested that I autograph them before they put them in the store at Auburn. I think that's over the top. Anyway, so they will be for sale, my old machines, and they are perfect. They work very, very well. They're absolute magic. Do I have to wear deep blue? Yes, I do. I have to wear, not this shirt, so you won't recognize me because I'll be, you'll be so used to this shirt in my videos, you'll say, who's this guy doing all the videos for Carbatec? Anyway, it's a huge thing. Will all of your videos going forward have a sponsored label? No, they won't. These machines I have bought. These weren't given to me. I bought those. So I really don't see that just because the machines are a different brand that I have to write sponsored on it. Should I have a sponsored sign for DeWalt as well? Just because I bought machines and they're in the background of my videos? I don't think so. So if, it's a grey area, I understand that. And it's been very hard for me as I've been creating videos and going forward with my channel to show that there is a separation between myself and the company that I work part-time for. Now, I'll only be doing 1 day a week for them now. I'll only be down there 1 day because I've got to spend so much time doing these videos of the assembly and maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I know their machines, why not give it to someone that's already with them? So, very, very exciting time. How about we get in? I haven't read much of this at all. A little bit. You need a new bandsaw, Zane. Well, why don't you buy my Powermatic? Go down to the store and buy it off them. I'll be the gecko for Carbatec. I don't know what that means, Bob. Thanks everyone for the congratulations. It's, as I say, it's a hard thing because, as I say, it's not as though I'm in Carbatec's pocket or they're in my pocket. It's not that at all. I get paid by them to make those videos for them. It would be the same as if Powermatic had said to me, Dave, we want you to do videos assembling our machines and what have you. We will pay you to do that, But they're not. It's Carbatec. It's a home brand for Australia, and that's the way we're going. Yes, Axminster in UK. That's possibly where they've taken the lead from. Axminster. I get a couple of things from Axminster, and the path guide from Peter Parfitt. They sent that over to me. I didn't ask. Well, they saw the videos that I was doing with other things, and they asked me about it and sent them over. I didn't buy them. That's the Axminster path guide, Peter Parfitt's path guide, and it's very, very happy. Only buy it if Dave signs it. Look, if someone's crazy enough to want my signature on it, I'll do it. It won't be the one that I use at the bank. It'll be one of those real fancy things that looks nice, just not an X that I normally use. Okay. Okay, with Chris, thank you for that. Barry is fine. And that little jet table saw is a lovely saw as well. Look, we've got to move on. And I'll tell you what, how about I tell you who's won this? There were it was very close, very, very close. But the one that came out on top was Derek Lark. Derek, you're getting this. I'll send this down to you. It's a great little moisture meter, and congratulations on it. Now, Derek's sign, let's see if I've got his here. We'll switch that one over. This is the one that won. Now, there were a few entries as well that that came close, especially the one with encouraging kids, but the numbers just didn't make it. This is this is the one. Oh dear. Let me come back to, I'm going to read down the side here. We've got everything there. I'm sure I've covered everything in the side panel there. Yeah. What happens is, when I prepare the show, I have a whole lot of information down this side. And I have to make sure that I go through it all. And I've also got a run sheet that I create, and it's even got some things at the bottom here. I'll tell you next week, the DeWalt special. We're talking about DeWalt. Jeremy Carter is coming up here, and he's going to bring a heap of tools with him, and I'm very excited. I love looking forward to new tools that have been released, and there's some new things for Australia that he's going to show me. It's going to be a premiere on this channel. I don't think anyone else in the country, in Australia, has seen these. He said he's going to save it for my show. How cool is that? Thanks, Jeremy. And then the week after next week is daylight savings. Finishes in Australia. All right, what have we got? What have we got? Lazy Susan. There's a couple of things with a Lazy Susan, and I'll switch to Carl Cam. I haven't seen Carl around for a while, but anyway, let's jump onto Carl Cam if I can get this mouse to work properly. There we go. This is what I'm going to put on to here. Now I need to let you know that there's a couple of things. If I wanted to mount this unit onto another plate so I could use it as a bearing. So I wanted to use something where I had the Lazy Susan and individual bearings mounted out around the outside, like a ball bearing, so I could carry a very large section. Whoop, talk about a large section, pull the tummy in. Well then, I would need to mount this to a base to start. Now that's why I've got this piece of melamine here, and you would mount it with the wider side. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the wider face than the top section here. So we need to create a hole. It's probably a good idea to have two holes. These holes here are for us to put a screwdriver through to be able to get to the holes underneath. So there's a series of small, medium and large holes there. You may not be able to see that. All right, now we turn it upside down and the reason being, it's going to be a little bit hard. I might jump to this side camera because it might be easier to show you that. I'm going to bring this camera in nice and close. Let's see if I can tip it over. Maybe. I'm going to show you there. That's going to be easier to see. Now see the large hole? There we go. There's a smaller hole underneath. I'm going to turn it around until it gets to that teeny weeny hole there. See that one? That's designed to take possibly a 5-gauge screw. Now while it's there, I'm going to put it on the base. Going to get a black marker, whatever you want to call them, laundry marker, and I'm going to put 2 marks there. Now you can see I've got a couple of other marks there, so I'm just going to put a ring around it and a ring around it. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes through that. So I will switch to the overhead cam again, or maybe even to the front one. Let's see how we go. No, that's rubbish. This one, yeah, the Carl cam again. So you can see there's the 2 spots that I need to drill holes through. I'm going to bring it out to the edge here and drill them. I'm going to switch to that other camera again. There. You can see I've got it hanging over the edge so I don't drill straight down into the bench top. And I'm going to use a 20mm, actually this is a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. And this surprises people that you can use a Forstner bit freehand. I don't know why, but it does. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one. I'll do the other one. Now the good thing about a Forstner bit, it's got a little point on the front here. You can line up like a speed bore, but it's nowhere near as savage as a speed bore is. I'm going to continue the hole with a 4mm drill. So we don't get blowout on the back. Turn her over. And I'm going to use that 4mm hole as the guide. Got it. Come on, you can come out. Maybe I should have used a 2mm hole. Anyway, there we go. We've got 2 holes there. Now, why have we got them there and what have I done that for? Well, now we can turn the Lazy Susan, this is the bottom of the Susan, turn it up the other way and line those holes up. So they're perfectly lined up with the holes I've drilled. And now I'm going to use this drill here and I'm going to drill in these 4 holes and I'm going to use Euro screws. I don't have to go all the way through. There we go. Beautiful. Give it a clean. And now we're going to fasten that to there using the Euro screws. Now these are the Euro screws. I always use these things whenever I can. And we'll put one in there. So it's a 4mm hole for these Euro screws. And they get a massive grip. And pull it back around to there. Might go to another camera. Go to the Carl cam again. There we go. So I've put one screw there. I'm going to put another one here, another one there, another one there. Doesn't take long. This is pretty easy to do. Yep. Live demo. I try and do the demos at the end of the show or halfway through, do all the chat, because I know there's so many people watch the show as a recording. They don't watch the live version. And they just go through to halfway through to see if Dave's finished waffling on. But I think the first part is interesting. I'm glad that people who aren't interested in the chat know to come through halfway through. And I'll come back up to this part here. And as one of the subscribers said, I don't watch talking heads. Well, unlucky. I've tricked you. Because I'm going to do a bit of talking head now. I'm going to read down through the chat. I'll probably lose him. He'll go over to Nick Ferry's live stream. Look, I'll be finished in 20 minutes. Go over and see Nick then. He's building something. I think it's recorded. He's doing a live construction. Once he's got his table saw cleared off, Nick's got mountains of stuff all over the place, and he said, I might get to the demo. Okay, Dave, you have worked hard for everything that comes your way. Well done. You'll be making so much money you can employ a cameraman. Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind earning good money, and I'll be doing okay out of it. But I don't want to lose Dave. Do you understand what I'm saying? Carbatec still want me to come through with the personality that I have for my channel. I don't think I'll be starting off the constructions with Dave here. How are you? That's not going to happen. It will be just broken into 3 or 4 different segments, and they'll edit how they want. It'll just be me assembling a machine, talking you through the easy ways that I found with assembling a machine. One of the things that I find is putting a mobile base on a table saw before you load it up with the wings and the rail and the fence and everything. Straight out of the box, layer over on its back on a pallet, so it's elevated a little bit, on some cardboard, And you know, a lot of those table saws have got captured nuts in the base, and you can bolt the mobile base onto the captured nuts straight off at the beginning, stand her up and continue. And there's little tips like that that I will give you. So I think it's going to be a good marriage of the of their machinery, which I'm very familiar with, and I like the colour. So we'll see what happens. Gillies, late are you? Into the corner, Gillies. None of this dilly-dallying. Hello, this is Dave. How do you do? How do you do? Yes. It's a huge help to me just getting started. Thanks, Chris. All right, so now we have the Lazy Susan bearing already on this board. Now we've drilled the holes through so we can access the screws. See, I don't know if you can see the light through there. Let me bring it up closer. See the screw hole? So we're going to turn it upside down, unmount this guy on it. Now, we need to find the center of this. And we could do that. We could do that in a way where, you know, yeah, pardon me, close enough is good enough. But I've had a little idea. I don't have, if you're a wood turner, there's a thing called a center finder. And it's a 90-degree angle with a line bisecting at 45 degrees down the center that's kind of open, and you can draw a line down the middle of it. Well, I don't have that, but I do have a Capex. Now the Capex has an angle bisector. Now all I've done is I've clamped a 1 meter steel rule to the angle bisector, and I have to be careful with it because it's not going to hold it massively, but it's going to hold it enough for me to use the external sections, and I'm going to hold this up so you can see what I mean. Can you see that? That's going to let me bisect the circle right down the center. And if I was to have this ruler starting at the middle of the circle and going out past the circumference, I think it's called a ray, like a ray of light, because it's got a starting point and it just continues past, and anything along that ray. So radius, this is why I think it's called ray. Radius, where did the RA come from for radius? I reckon it's ray. You know, I might be wrong. Pop in some suggestions there. So I'm going to put a mark on the back. Now this, I didn't make this. Why would I make this if I can buy 2 of them for $14 at a local shopping centre? I don't know. I'd like to say I made it, but it's been made by a machine. I'm going to put a line there. I'm going to rotate it. How about we switch cameras so you can see what's happening here, Dave? There we go. Okay, so I've put a small line here. Maybe that other camera is going to be better. I think it will. Yep, there we go. I've put a small line here. So there. I'll come in closer. And I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to do another one with my little jig that I've made. That's it. That's the center. Wasn't too hard, was it? So that jig, as I was saying, it's pretty easy. It's just a matter, I'll take the clamps off. 1 meter steel rule. And the angle bisector off the Capex. Now you can get these, Borer I think make these as well. So these are the external parts. I'll slide them back, undo this and close it up. If you've seen the video that I've done on the Capex, these are a very handy tool. Whether you get one of these, on their own they're horribly expensive, so I wouldn't suggest you get one of these, unless of course you buy a Capex. But if you've got, you go into a tool store, whoever's, I don't care whose tool store you go to, and there's a similar thing that's made by another company, and away you go. I think Pro Tool make them as well, or ProMac I should say, Anyway, so now we've got that line. What are we going to do next? We've jumped the gun a little bit. So what I should have done, and what I will do, because we've got time, is I'm going to undo those 4 screws. Actually, I probably didn't need to undo these, but I will, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that line from the centre. Now, it doesn't matter. You might go, Dave, what are you doing? It's going to muck it up. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a line. Because I know the centre, it doesn't matter where I go. I can come off that just as long as I've got that intersection there. You see what I mean? There's 2 lines intersecting in the centre. I'm going to do a line there and there. Wow, this Sharpie's seen better days, hasn't it? Get rid of that. And now I'm going to get a square. I hope everyone's had a great week. Let's go right through the centre. Then I can put the square on it properly. Oh, that's rubbish. Absolute rubbish, David. I'll get a pencil. Hopefully this pencil will work better. Isn't it great when the props don't work properly? That's better. I can see that. Can you see that? That line across it? Good. Okay, and now from the centre again, I'm just going to use the square. And this is a ray, and from there to there, radius. And then I'm going to continue it out the other side. Alrighty. Now I can put this way up, I think. Yep. And I'll turn this around till I get to the holes that I'm after. I'm after that one. And I can look down through it all and I can see where it's all at. Move this around just a touch. That's looking good. So is that one. And that one. Okay. Let's see if I can get this camera to look down inside there for you. So just there. You see the line? And over here. See the line? Over on the other side. You can see the line down there. And there's the line there as well. Now, I'm trusting that the company that made this, all the machining is correct. So now, I'm putting a mark down there so I know where I'm at. And that's all good. Now I can drill more holes. Exactly where they've got to go. Done. Now it's important that we put the Lazy Susan back on our baseboard. It's one of those things. You tend to think, oh yeah, everyone knows how to do this, but they don't. They don't. It's that one. Got to find the hole. There it is. Got it. I'll do one to start, and it should all pivot around off that one. Got him. And down to there. Beautiful. Let's see if we can go to Carlcam and see if that's going to work. Yep, a bit shiny there. I'll move it away from it. And another one. Now, if this doesn't make sense as I'm doing it, go back to the recording after the show and have a look. Now, I turn it upside down and put it on there. Whoop! What an idiot. You know what I've done? I've closed the holes up. I should have been 90 degrees around. So I did that on purpose, children. Take a couple of seconds to move it around. 90 degrees on the rotation. That's better. I can actually see the hole there now. What a wally. I didn't do it on purpose. I stuffed up. Okay, see the hole? And the hole lining up there now? Beautiful. But you will remember, when you do this, the next time you do a lazy Susan, you'll say, oh, that doesn't sound quite right, does it? To a lazy Susan. The next time you create one of these rotating bases, you will think to yourself, this is where Dave stuffed up. Now what I'm doing now, I'm going to switch the cameras again because this might be interesting for you to watch there again. Transition. Okay. So I'm watching down inside of that until I get the whole line up. Can you see it? This is so cool. I love this part. Has John woken up? What are you doing, Sleeping Beauty? I'm going to line it up. And I have lined it up down there. Hook another Euro screw on the end of the driver. Now this is when it's great to have a magnetic tip. There we go. Got him. And we rotate the whole thing around until I find, oh, don't do that silliness, come on. It's not turning. I'm going to have to put a screwdriver down inside the hole and just drag it around slowly until it lines up. Beautiful. Wow, how good is that? I'm surprising myself. Now I put it down inside here. Okay, so you can see I've put it on two and it's lined up very, very well. So now I'm going to rotate it around till I've got the next two holes, which I have. So there's going to be four, and they offer you different size screws as well. Like there's a small one, medium and a large, depending on what you're going to be using it for, I guess. That's it. Finished. We'll go to Carlcam. They're noisy buggers, aren't they? Okay, there. And you can see that it's pretty well centraled. You know, that's very well centered. And just by using that little trick of using an angle divider. Now, if you haven't got an angle divider like this guy, whoop, let's move the cameras to there. Okay, so you can see it's very well centered. You can't see anything down the side there. This is going to be great. So if you don't have one of these to be able to create as a center finder, you can make your own. Just get a piece of particle board or plywood or whatever you want, draw a line to make a 90-degree corner on it, bisect the angle 45 degrees, then you could actually, it might be easier just to draw your line straight out the back and then do the same kind of thing as I did. Just cut this out, and then your 45 degrees is coming back there. Basically, it's 135 degrees coming out the back there. You follow? It could be good. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a read and see what we're up to. Okay, Chris, you're getting it now. Okay, good. Does it need a bit of oil? I don't know. Like, these things they're not the expensive ones. And if you're using it outside, and I also think if you've got things on top of it that are heavy, it'll deaden the sound a little bit. Bonus, you can hear whenever someone is raiding the fridge for food. Indeed. Now take it apart and add some lubricant. I guess I could, Michael. I've used 2 squares before. That would do it. Greg Birchall. Dave, I'm about to buy a router table from Carbatec. So that could be your first video if you like. You know what? It's not going to be my first. I've got a list. I'm going to do 13 to start off with. Let's go to the other thing there. I've got 13 videos in a trial. You know, it's smart. They're taking a gamble. I'm taking a gamble. We just want to make sure it's going to work. I've got 13 machines lined up in front of me. And as I say, I'll probably do the bandsaw and the other sander on my own time, do all the filming on it, and then get them in here, and then do their program as well. So they'll still be paying me to do those other machines, but I just think it might be a little bit smarter for them and also for me if they are keen to have those machines there. Otherwise, I'll just wheel them out, and we'll have just Carbatec in the background. Anyway, break period, first 5,000 rotations. Okay, Stuart, better late than never, kind of nice here in the corner. Grandkids, my excuse. Fair enough. Graphite loop, yep. Janice, 101 watching, 41 thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up under the video, people. If you can, that's lovely. You know, if you're not like that, well, that's fine as well. I'm happy for you to just watch and absorb. If you want to see what I'm doing here as far as little projects are concerned, and how cool is that? The other thing you can do, as I did mention, they also sell ball bearings that are individual, that look like just like a fake eye, and you screw them down around, and they're an outer support. So I could create this with the thickness of disc here that was the correct diameter or correct thickness from table to the top there, and have these outer bearings as outer support. So it would give it unbelievable strength. Now, let me see what I could think of using that for. Festool make a machine called a Conturo. Now, it's an edge bander. And they have a clamp, which is very expensive. It's a Vaxis. And what it does is it sucks the workpiece, like people are doing maybe a 4-foot diameter tabletop for a restaurant or wherever. And normally these things have got a nice laminate surface, and they want to put an edge strip around the outside, whether it's a laminate edge or plastic or what have you. So the Conturo applies this edge, and it needs to actually spin, because you hold the Conturo in your hand and the whole job turns by the wheels driving from the Conturo. Now, as I said, Festool have something that's designed to go onto the edge of the MFT3. It would also go onto my Stanton bench as well. It's not a problem. And it clamps on there, and it has a head that is connected up to a vacuum pump, and you put the piece, the tabletop, on top of it. It goes, sucks it down, holds it, and away you go. Now, and then you can spin. My thought is you could do something very similar with a Lazy Susan and some outside bearings, and also on the section in the center that's got the Lazy Susan on it, you could use the grip strip, you know, the Festool grip strip, this stuff that I use on the Stanton bench now. So, did I mention, if you want a Stanton bench, by all means, check out stantonbench.com.au, and all the details are there. If you want plans or you want me to make you one, we're sending one off to New Zealand next week, so, you know, they're going everywhere. All right, so, where was I? I keep reading things and try and keep the track of thought. So then I could put a tabletop ready for edging on top of that. The grip strip would hold it, and then the outside bearings would give it support. And I could be out here with the Conturo, turn it on, and it would rotate and do all the edging for me. I think that would be marvelous. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more reading, then I've got to go. Sounds good. No gamble. You're a good presenter. I look forward to watching. Thanks, Chris. Respects would Carbatec needs a loyalty card point system thing. Why don't you send them a message and ask them? See, talking to me about it has no bearing at all. I'm a nuffy on the floor. I'm a nobody. I stand on the floor. I talk to people about machines, and if they want one, they buy one from me. And that's as far as I go with Carbatec. I will now be doing their machine assemblies up here as videos, and that's, you know, I have a 150-kilometre round trip to come from my place down to Carbatec and back again, back up into the Blue Mountains. I was doing that every day when I first started with them, and went down to 3 days, and now it's going to be 1 day. So, you know, the saving in fuel is going to be huge, and bloody toll fees and everything. Okay, John Luke, good reason to have a TV in your workshop, Dave, to watch Dave build your new next machine. Yes, you can do that. We had to spin 24-inch by 24-inch platform and use fixed casters. Yes, yep, yes. BREAT. I've no idea what that means. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to get this other screen here, and intro and text. That's the one I'm after. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Keep on coming back. Remember, next week, don't forget, next week, we're going to have Jeremy Carter up here with a heap of cordless tools and some other things that might blow your mind. So make sure you get here for that. I'm hoping Jeremy's going to make it. He hasn't cancelled or anything, so I'm very happy with that. He wants to take the chainsaw back off me. Oh, God, I hope he brings up another one for me. Maybe he's going to take his one back and give me a brand spanker. That'd be nice. And what else have we got? What else have we got? The week after that, as I say, is daylight savings will be finishing in Australia. So next week, the show will be starting exactly the same time as it has today. And thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other if you can. And I shall see you next week. Bye.